for and against the death sentence. Should there be death sentence in a country like India? There are, it's an endless debate, okay? And many people say that there should be death sentence. India like country needs death sentence. Even, Manish, in his discussion about the President of India and the pardoning power, he might have talked about this death sentence and all, but I would like to come up with my argument because, you can choose. There is no, you should not think that all of us should have the same opinion, but please consider my arguments is very important. Okay, so arguments for and against death sentence. Arguments for and against death sentence or capital punishment. Okay, or capital punishment. Can the state take away the life of a person? That is the thing. So, as I said, it's an endless debate. In fact, a couple of years before, the Supreme Court, commuted 15 convicts death sentence. Supreme Court commuted the death sentence of 15 convicts on the grounds of inordinate delay and mental illness. On grounds of inordinate delay and mental illness. Because you are, perpetually keeping a person alive, saying that I will, I will hang you tomorrow or day after, we don't know, but I will hang you. So, if you are under that condition, no matter how heinous a crime you have done, so you are torturing that person on a daily basis. The court said that once the mercy petition of or once the dismissal of the mercy petition is there, he should be hanged within 14 days. The Supreme Court also said that once the mercy petition is rejected by the President of India, once the legal proceeding, the mercy petition is rejected, once the mercy petition is rejected, he or she should be hanged within 14 days. Within 14 days. Supreme Court even said this. So, now, so in India, mercy petition, the death sentence or the capital punishment is still there. In the Nirbhaya case, the convicts were hanged in our country. A lot of hue and cry was there, and people even celebrated hanging those people. So, there are, all sorts of people in this country, and let us not get into the detail. Now, if you look at the capital punishment across the world, now I would like to talk about what is the situation in the world. Okay, in India, many people say it should be there and this and that. I will come to my argument a bit later. But what is the situation in the world? So, capital punishment in the world. Capital punishment in the world. So, more than 100 countries, now you see what is going on in the world, more than 100 plus countries has abolished, they are not fools, abolished capital punishment. So, when majority is doing something, and we cannot ignore that, if 193 countries are there in the world, more than half of them has abolished capital punishment, 48 another countries permit its use for crimes, but not used at least in the last 10 years. So, another 48 countries, according to Amnesty International, another 48 countries have not used recently. Very rarely it has been used or not used recently at all. And, but there are countries who are practicing it in a regular basis. At least what we can say is that at least in 150 countries in the world, this has not been practiced on a regular basis, or it has been completely abolished. European Union and all, if you are to join European Union, one condition is you have to abolish capital punishment from your law. Then only you can even apply to join European Union. So, that is the kind of requirement which is there in European Union to join and all. So, now there are many countries. Now, let me talk about the countries which are practicing capital punishment in a big way. Now, most of them are undemocratic countries. It is, China. You know what kind of democracy is. No democracy in China. Then Saudi Arabia. No democracy whatsoever. Then Iran. So, we cannot take examples from this country, but the only, I will say, a major democratic country where capital punishment is there, that is USA. these are the 4 countries where maximum capital punishments do take place. So, China, Saudi Arabia, Iran and USA, and out of this 3 of them are undemocratic, autocratic countries, and only one democratic country, that is USA. So, we have an example of a democratic country, we have an example of non-democratic countries. See, now European Union type country. Now the argument, now this is the situation there. So, in fact, even when India came up, so I'll come to that. Then let me talk about in India, in the Constituent Assembly. Okay, in the Constituent Assembly also this debate was there. Several members in the Constituent Assembly firmly opposed the death penalty. It's not that we unanimously agreed to have a capital punishment in the country. Even Baba Sahib Ambedkar said the proper thing for this country to do is to abolish the death sentence altogether. Even Ambedkar said, in the floor of the Constituent Assembly said, the proper thing for this country is to abolish the death sentence altogether. Abolish death sentence altogether. That is what Ambedkar said. Even another Constituent Assembly member called Shiban Lal Saxena, Professor Shiban Lal Saxena, Professor Shiban Lal Saxena. He was a freedom fighter, Constituent Assembly member, and he was on the death row for his involvement in Quit India movement. He was sentenced to death by Britishers for his involvement in the Quit India movement. And when he was waiting, or rather when he was, when he was waiting for his execution to happen, but luckily for him, he was not executed, but he was placed along with the other criminals who were waiting for death sentence. And according to him, when he talked to those people who are waiting for being executed, who are accused of other crimes, murder and other things, Shiban Lal Saxena's argument was that he could personally understand that most of these people who were accused of committing a crime and waiting for capital punishment were not actually criminals. They were falsely accused. That is what Shiban Lal Saxena. See, now, why am I quoting Shiban Lal Saxena? See, he is not an ordinary person. He was a freedom fighter. He was sentenced to death. He was waiting for death or waiting to be executed by the Britishers at that time. He was placed along with other criminals who did heinous crimes, or he was accused of doing heinous crimes. So, when you are in such a state of mind, when you are talking to others who are placed in similar situation, many a times you get the truth more accurately. And his argument was that many of those convicts were not the actual criminals. So that is a big thing. So we cannot ignore. See, if you are ignoring this argument, and if you are executing a person, you cannot give back the life later on if you come to know. So now coming to, so that is how my argument is, even in the Constituent Assembly there is a strong debate regarding this. Many people opposed capital punishment. Now coming to arguments for capital punishment, many people say there should be. What are the arguments for capital punishment? And the arguments are standard and simple. Death sentence serves as a deterrent to other criminals. One, deterrent. Deterrent to others. By seeing somebody, see, like Nirbhaya, rape accused fellows were sentenced to death and they were executed. By seeing that, others will be deterred from doing that crime. One argument. Number two, a guilty must be punished proportionate to the severity of the crime. It is proportionate. If you do something, you will get it back. Proportionate to the severity. Okay, proportionate to the severity of the crime. And in fact, a third argument put forward by many is India is a victim of terrorism and all. Terrorists don't deserve any mercy, and to curb the terrorism we need capital punishment. And number four, death penalty gives a final justice to the victim's family. It gives final justice to victim's family. Okay. So, these are some of the arguments. We say that it will deter others from committing the crime. Most importantly, India is still under threat from terrorism, secessionism. So, we need some deterrent laws which can stop, or rather it will be which will act as a deterrent against those who try to fight against India and terrorism and everything. So, that is the argument for capital punishment. Now, coming to arguments against. Now, I will say both, then I will talk about my argument also. Arguments against death sentence. Number one, the death sentence is not served as a deterrent. So, the argument that it will serve as a deterrent, death sentence is not serving as a deterrent. The first argument is that. In fact, that is the truth also. It is not serving as a deterrent. Please understand, I said USA, then the other side is European Union. In USA, there is capital punishment and one of the countries where maximum people are executed every year. But there is no dip in the crime in USA. Similarly, there is no increase in crime in European Union only because there is no death penalty. See, European Union has no death penalty. That does not mean the crime rate in European Union is increasing. And there is death penalty and too many people are executed in the US, even then the death in US is, even then the crime in US is not reducing. So, there is no connection between the crime rate and death penalty. What is more important is the assurity, not the severity of punishment. The real deterrent will be the lawmakers, they always say that the certainty of punishment. Certainty of punishment, or the assurity of punishment is more important than severity. Whether you are giving capital punishment or not, that doesn't matter, but if you are assured that you will get punishment. Suppose, if you jump a red light, if you violate a traffic signal, if you are 100% sure that you will get punishment, even if it is 10 rupees only, you will not jump the light. But why do we jump the light? Because we know that most of the cases we will not be caught. Police will not be there, camera is not there, even if camera is there, it is not working, we know how it works. So, we jump or we violate traffic signal not because of the amount of punishment. It is always, we know that we will not be caught. 99% of the time we will not be caught by the police. So, we try to jump. So, it is assurity, certainty of punishment that is more important. That is number one. Number two, the death sentence violates the international human rights law. So, one is, it is not acting as a deterrent. That is number one. Number two, it is a violation of death sentence is a violation of international human rights laws. Human rights laws. A series of international laws are there which is violating. Number two. Number three, you are trying to a heinous crime. A person who has done the heinous crime, we are also doing a barbaric act. We are giving a punishment in the same barbaric way. See, now a barbaric act cannot be responded by another barbaric act. Even Mahatma Gandhi, he said, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. That means you are actually going into that eye for eye scenario. Okay, it's an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. Makes the whole world blind. See, now very simple. If somebody abuses you in the street, you are walking in the street and somebody abuses you, will you abuse the person with the same degree or with a bigger gali? No. We are civilized people, we will not be responding the same way. The same thing is there. State is a responsible, entity, the government and the state, and we cannot respond back to any person in the same barbaric way. See, now in the line of actual control between India and Pakistan a couple of years before, so in the skirmishes between India and Pakistan, the Pakistani army beheaded Indian soldiers and they were tortured, even removed their eyes and all. I mean, very, very barbaric thing they have done. So, should India do the same thing back to the Pakistani soldiers? No, we should not be doing it. They have done some barbaric act. We cannot respond back in the same barbaric act. So, the state is a response. See, an irresponsible citizen has done something heinous, but state cannot respond back by the same, in the same heinous way. So, we should not be, it's an inhuman thing. Okay. So, what I am saying is that a person has committed an inhuman thing, but I will definitely say capital punishment or this death penalty is an inhuman and unjust system. Death penalty is inhuman. It is not, we cannot take away. I mean, can you imagine taking away the life of another person? And if you are imagining that I can do, you can do, then you are not a human being. You should have that sense of humanity in you. Please don't think about taking lives of other people. So, death penalty is an inhuman way of punishing persons. Its continued use is a stain on the society. It is, if you believe in humanitarian values and ethos and ethics, then death penalty cannot be part of it. So, that is number 3. It's an inhuman punishment. Number 4, the biggest thing is, if a death sentence is irrevocable, a death sentence is irrevocable. A death sentence is irrevocable. Meaning, once you execute a person, and if an innocent person is executed, you cannot give him back the life after some time saying that, oh, I made a mistake, you please come back to life. We cannot say that. We will not be able to do that. It is irrevocable. A death sentence is an irrevocable thing. You cannot, you cannot give back the life. There are so many instances even in India and maybe even in Western world, everywhere it is seen that, once you take away, that is gone, you will not be able to do any, you cannot repair the damage. That is something very, very important. It is irrevocable. Our cardinal principle of our criminal justice system is, even if many criminals escape, no innocent should be punished. Even if many criminals escape, no innocent shall be punished. See, you cannot imagine of punishing an innocent, even if we have to allow certain criminals to escape. But the opposite cannot happen. You cannot ensure, you cannot punish an innocent person. How can you imagine also to punish an innocent person? We cannot do that. So, that is where the problem is. Okay. So, that is why the capital punishment can be very, very dangerous. So, coming to the final analysis, my argument is very simple. Miscarriage of justice is one of the biggest concerns of death penalty. Miscarriage of justice is one of the biggest concerns of death penalty. Second is, this punishment is an inhuman punishment. Number 3, and one more point I would like to add. One is miscarriage. Number 2, the state did not give life to citizens. Did not give life to citizens. State did not give. You are not here, you are not alive because India wanted you to be there. No. State did not give us life. So, if state did not give us life, how can the state take away your life? So, how can the state take away your life when the state did not give you life in the first place? So, state has no right to take away, Miscarriage of justice can be there. This is an inhuman treatment, inhuman way, and not acting a deterrent, not a deterrent. If at all you want to make it a deterrent, a surety of punishment should be there, not a severity of punishment. There are many instances of innocence being done, innocence being executed. In fact, a couple of years before, 14 judges in Indian Supreme Court, retired Supreme Court judges, said that at least since 1996, in 15 cases, Supreme Court said that the death penalty, the judges, these retired judges said that the gravest known miscarriage of justice in the history of crime and punishment in independent history, where they said that in a point, Supreme Court had erroneously given death penalty to at least 15 people in 15 cases since 1996. It was said by 14 judges, retired judges, said that Supreme Court has erroneously given death penalty to at least 15 people. So then there is another very interesting case in US. It's called the Innocence Project in US. Okay, there was a project. A couple of examples I would like to give. Innocence Project in USA. And one such case was called a person called Cameron Willingham. Cameron Willingham. This person was executed in 2004. Cameron Willingham was executed in 2004. And what is the case? He was accused of killing 3 daughters, his own daughters. 3 of his daughters were killed by him. That is what the accusation, and he was executed in 2004. But in 2009, a reinvestigation of the case was done, and it was found that, in fact, enough evidence, forensic evidence in the case, and the judge concluded that Willingham was wrongfully convicted. This Cameron Willingham was wrongfully convicted. It is proved in 2009 by a judge. In front of the judge, reinvestigation took place, forensic evidences were brought in, and it was found that he did not do the crime, he was wrongfully convicted. And another case, in US again, there is a person called Carlos De Luna. Okay, another person called Carlos De Luna. This was a case where he was executed in 1989 for a murder of an young woman some years before. He was accused of killing another woman, and he was executed in 1989. In 2004, the Columbia Law School students, they brought to light this wrongful conviction, and which turned out to be a case of mistaken identity, a mistaken identity. Okay. So this Carlos De Luna was not the person who killed this lady, it seems. Columbia Law School students have proved that it is a case of mistaken identity. Forget about that. Last year, I think in 2019, let me just tell you, in US again, there was a very interesting case. 2 black youths were arrested and sentenced for life imprisonment for killing another person. Okay, 2 black youths were there. They were at the age of 17 or 18 at that time. They were given, luckily they were not given capital punishment. They were accused of doing this crime in early 89 or 90. They were just in late 80s, 1980s, this crime was conducted, or it happened. And they were sentenced to life imprisonment. But recently, in 2019, some re-examination of the case, and the judge found that these 2 youths did not do the crime. Luckily for them, they were not executed at that. Since they were teenagers, capital punishment was not given. They were given only life imprisonment. But after, I think, 32 years in jail, they were released recently. and they were already 50 plus or 50, 51 years of age. Just imagine, they were in jail for 32 years for mistaken identity. This happened last year, 2019, I think in Florida. Just imagine, but had they been executed, we could not, at least they are released. These two, they are no more youth now, they are more than 50 plus aged individuals. So, this is something very, the mistaken identity and miscarriage of justice can be the biggest problem. And recently also, in the 65th United Nations General Assembly in 2010, now final conclusion, the UN General Assembly, 65th General Assembly in December 2010. For the third time, it is not the first time, the third time, the UN General Assembly passed a resolution in favor of abolishing death penalty and called for a global moratorium on execution. Global moratorium on execution. Okay. Amnesty International, like other human rights agencies, all of them are against it, and their big argument is vengeance is not justice. We cannot take vengeance. Okay. Vengeance is not justice. Please understand, we should not be thinking about that, we need, even in our, Afzal Guru case, he was executed. Many lawyers, many legal experts say that his execution was also, I am not questioning, I am not talking about whether he got involved in the, parliament attack case or not. That is a separate thing. I am not getting into that. Most of the people said that his trial was marred by procedural and substantive errors. Afzal Guru case, why Afzal Guru execution was controversial? Because his trial was marred by procedural and substantive errors. Substantive errors. See, now, if a person is a criminal, we should execute, but there should be enough evidence also. Even if we have to release some criminals because of lack of evidence, no innocent should be punished. That should be the bottom line. So, capital punishment is a heinous way or inhuman way of punishing a person. We cannot correct that person. See, any punishment should be corrective in nature. We should correct that person. In capital punishment, we cannot correct that person in any case. We are executing him summarily. And UN General Assembly also has passed thrice. The whole world is talking, at least 150 countries, there is no capital punishment. It is high time for India to become progressive, modern, forward-looking, humanitarian. Okay, be human, be a human being. Don't talk about killing somebody else. However heinous crime he has done, however bad that person is, you are not bad, you are good at heart. You should be always thinking in that line. You should be good at your heart. Don't think of harming others. Don't think of executing people, killing people, even if they have done something. See, they were all born with, they were not born as criminals. They were born innocents like you and me. But unfortunately, circumstances, society has taken them to that level. Let us have mercy on them, pity on them, not baying for blood. You should not be like, the barbaric people baying for blood. Okay, so eye for an eye and a leg for a leg and all thing, idea should not be there with you. Please be human. Okay, and capital punishment is not the right way to. You punish people, you give life imprisonment, keep them in jail forever. It is okay, but why do you want to take the life of a person? You have not given life. The state has not given life to that person, and you should not be thinking of taking away. So my strong recommendation is we should be fighting against capital punishment. This is not the way. And how many people we are executing also? In the last 20 years, we might have executed 4 or 5 people in this country. And how does it make a difference whether, because of that, whether we are decreasing or increasing the punishment, or increasing the crime rate? No. So, I think we have to be modern, we have to be progressive, we have to be liberal. See, I always want you to be a liberal thinking person. That is where, the magnanimity will come. You should be magnanimous in victory. You should be compassionate to others. You should be liberal in thinking. please think, and capital punishment and death penalty will not match with our liberal thinking. So that's all about should there be capital punishment. I said both the arguments and you decide, but I am strongly for it, because especially in interview, when if a debate comes, you should be very, very clear about why you are for or against. It's very easy to be against capital punishment. It is very easy to defend and your argument, because ultimately you have to give logic for your argument and you can stand by your argument. So that is why I gave all these ideas about should there be capital punishment. For my side, it is a firm no. There should not be. It is high time for India to abolish capital punishment.